Welcome everybody here and to my electorate of Swan, and especially Leader Peter Dutton. Manufacturing is a really critical industry in the Swan electorate, and our defence investment, especially in WA, is really going to underpin that industry and obviously all the jobs in the Swan electorate. So thanks very much, Peter, for coming, and I'll hand over.
Thanks, mate. Mick, thank you very much. Firstly, thank you to Blacktree here. It's an incredible success story. A WA company employing people directly and indirectly in their hundreds, and they are a company with a world-renowned reputation, and they're exporting product that's manufactured here in WA to all parts of the globe. We saw a shipment on its way to Italy, and trusted partners, including in NATO countries, look to Australia for that defence relationship. And we are a party that has always stood by the men and women of the Australian Defence Force, and we do that in relation to the announcement that we're making today. Really pleased to be here with Andrew Hastie, our Shadow Minister for Defence, and somebody who has served his country in uniform in the SAS, no less, and also to Linda Reynolds, who has also served our country in uniform and a former Defence Minister and great Senator here in WA. Great to be here with Michaelia Cash as well, and Mick Fells, who is our candidate and responsible, hopefully after the election, for generating more jobs in his electorate of Swan. What we announced today is a record investment into defence, which is going to be of particular benefit here in Western Australia, in South Australia, in other defence hubs around the country. Australia has an important role to play on the global stage and in our own region, but most importantly, a good Australian government will always invest into keeping us safe. We made an announcement only a few days ago of $750 million into keeping Australians safe in their homes and in their suburbs, in their towns and in their communities. And today we make a very significant announcement of over $20 billion to defence over the course of the next 5 years, which will bring spending up to 2.5% of GDP. It will be an important expenditure because we need to keep our country safe. And if we're to preserve peace and stability in our region, if we're to be a good ally with our partners, then Australia needs to invest in defence. As Defence Minister, I was incredibly proud of the work that we did around AUKUS in particular, the money that we put into Red Spice, which helped defend us against cybersecurity attacks on our banking systems, on infrastructure, critical infrastructure like water and sewerage. And we need to make sure that whatever confronts us over the course of the coming decades, we can stare down. And that's exactly what a coalition government will do, because we always support and invest into defence. And the men and women of the Australian Defence Force, and frankly speaking to many companies right across the country at the moment who are in the defence supply chain, building componentry and pieces that are being acquired by the government, they're completely and utterly disillusioned with this government. So I'm pleased that we're able to make this significant announcement. It says that at this election, there is a choice for Australians to make. On the one hand, you've got a government that has ripped $80 billion out of defence. On the other, the coalition is investing more into defence, a record amount of money, and we're keeping our country safe doing so. At the next election, it's a choice of 70 cents a day by way of tax cut in 15 months' time, or it's 25 cents a litre immediately off your fuel bill, and that means $14 a tank less every time you fuel up. We're giving $1,200 back to the average taxpayer so that you can cope with Labor's cost of living crisis, and we're going to restore the dream of home ownership again. I want young Australians into homes. They're locked out at the moment, so we're going to cut migration, and we're going to stop foreign owners, foreign buyers from owning Australian homes and competing against young Australians in a very tight housing market. So I believe that at the next election, and as we draw closer to polling day, Australians see that Labor's attacks are built on a lie. In WA, the bulk billing rate under Labor, under Mr Albanese, in the last 3 years has dropped by 15%. And that's why it's costing more to see a doctor. That's why it's harder to see a doctor under this Prime Minister. And we have a policy, a plan to help people now, to address the real problems that Labor's built in, particularly to the energy market. We're going to reinvest into defence, and we're going to restore the dream of home ownership. I'll ask Andrew to say a few words, and then we're happy to take some questions.